Adult children talk quite a bit about cutting ties with their parents, and that seems to be becoming more and more acceptable. But something that isn't really talked about is parents who choose to leave their children's lives, their adult children's lives, and that's what I want to talk about. Um, I was not a good mother at all. I fucked up. I made some bad mistakes and some bad choices that caused my children great suffering. You see, I had my baby out of wedlock, which was a very shameful thing to my mother. My mother, I didn't have a good female or mother role model. So basically, I was winging it, trying to figure it out. And my mother told me that I was going to have to provide financially, of course, for my child, and that before I had any other children, that I needed to be married. So I believed her, and I spent a great deal of time working, trying to have the American dream with my baby. And I did get married to a man who isn't his father. He was a prince at first, but you know how that goes. They get what they want, and then they become your worst nightmare, the monster. And I had my second baby with him, and divorced him. I couldn't deal with him any longer. He was just abusive and mean. He was an ugly person. Then I got married again to another man who was just this prince. Made all kinds of pretty little promises, and of course I didn't know any better, so I believed him. Got married again, and he was a nightmare. He was beyond a monster. He was evil. He was a demon, and he caused a great deal of damage. He's very detrimental to my children, also to me, and also our pet, our little dog. He was extremely abusive. I didn't know how far it went because I was the one working. I was working in graveyard shifts. My dad had always been a good father, so I don't know. I just never expected for a man to be as bad as these two men were. But when I got my divorce, that was, this year will be 20 years. I stayed single because my man picker it's not just broken, it's freaking shattered. And I treated my children the way my mother treated me. And you can't do better until you know better. And after years, I finally learned better. And I have done everything I can to try to make my children's lives better. I've fought for them. I've stood up for them. Literally, I've done everything I could think of. I asked them for forgiveness when they both became adults, when they were young adults. And my daughter forgave me, and my son said he forgave me. And, for several years there, we had a good relationship, or I thought it was good. I wanted to make his life easier and I wanted to make it better. And I would do things for him, go out of my way and do things for him. I don't think there was a lot of guilt involved. It was just my profound love for him, trying to make up for the opportunities that he missed, I guess. I don't know. But I helped with um, a lot of things, and everything that I helped with would end up falling through. But I kept right on helping as hard as I could, the best way I knew how. Um, Over the last couple of years, he has become more and more distant. And at first, I'm like, well, did I do something wrong? What's going on here? And I would try to make it better. But then I realized this is the choice that he's made. This is what he wants. And I respect him. I respect his choices. And so I started backing off more and more. And I didn't ask him for anything. And I came around less and less. Now, if he asked me to come over or he said he needed my help with something, I'd drop everything and I'd go and I would help. But let's come up to current day. On New Year's Eve, he was pretty mad about some things, and not just me, but other people as well. I was just one of the lucky ones, I guess. He told me that I was on his shit list. Well, I thought he had been talking about the last couple of years, and I've been confused and hurt and not understanding what's been happening over the past couple of years. And so I said, well, I guess we're even. We apparently were not on the same page because he tore into me about everything. What a horrible mother I'd been and that I'd ruined my children's lives and all of that. And after he finished that, he said, I hate you. I always have and always will. And it was at that precise moment when all the pieces came together in my mind and it clicked in my head. The reason why everything fell through whenever I try to help him, it was a passive-aggressive thing. I don't even know if he was aware of that, but it was a passive-aggressive thing. I realized at that moment when he said, I hate you, I always have and always will. It was at that very moment that I realized that it was time for me to exit his life. And there were two reasons why I made the choice. Number one, I will not continue to be punished for the mistakes that I made so long ago that I have tried to rectify the best way I could. It's not rectifiable. And number two, I'm a source of anguish to my son. I rob him of his peace, and I can't do that to him. So if I remove myself, then I can remove one source of anguish and help him come a little bit closer to peace. And so that's why I chose to exit from his life. He, another thing, there's two things that he can't change, that nobody can change. Number one is my profound love for him. That is, I will always love him dearly. And number two, I will always pray. And that's all I can do.